Thursday edition of Box Seat. I'm Adam McGrath, and again joined by Ian Lenson. Ian, 8-race card at Belmont Park. Looking forward to that. But firstly, your thoughts on Blackheart Bart returning on the weekend?
Oh, it was brilliant. I think all things pointed to Blackheart Bart not being 100% fit. Even Vaughan Sigley after the race, or Glenn Smith in fact, said after the race that the horse wasn't completely there. Vaughan Sigley also said that he probably preferred Dawn Approach in that race, and in the end we just saw a brilliant ride by Glenn Smith, and it was a grinding victory for Blackheart Bart and an ominous sign for the summer carnival coming up, because Blackheart Bart looks ready to go. That's
the biggest thing I took from the race, is that Blackheart Bart's going to be a very hard horse to beat. We know that already. Fuchsia Bandana's clearly flying. Dawn Approach has improvement left, and Hazard will show that with a nice run, this horse might be able to play our part in bigger races too. So it's an exciting spring and summer carnival to come.
Yeah, it certainly was. And, you know, Wink and a Nod probably got too far back in the run, and yeah, probably the two runs behind the winner was Hazabeel, as you mentioned, and Wink and a Nod. So we have a very good field, and it appeared that on paper.
Well, let's focus on this race card, because there are some impressive types going around. It does look to be maybe another big day for Grant Williams and William Pike. Taking a look at conditions, and the Mooble rallies out 18 metres with a cutaway in the straight. We're looking at 28 degrees and mostly sunny, so perfect weather for racing, and we'll be running on a good 3. Race number 1, it is the Westspeed 3-year-old handicap over the 1700 metres. A small field here, but a very impressive winner from last start.
Yeah, Mulga. It's the half to Gumnut Guru, so really well bred. And look, it had one race start when it started, I think, second favourite, and disappointed. It came back through the trials, which was a mild effort, but at the races on that northern meeting, it bolted in. It was a really good performance. That was on the 28th of September.
Middle is Bandero Boy. Mulga is called upon at the top of the straight. Then My Name is Sue. Ruby's Legacy searching for run behind them at the 300. Gibraltar Street headed by Sharkbite. Mulga. My Name is Sue down the outside. Glowing Rock getting a wriggle on, but Pike goes for home now on Mulga at the 100, and Mulga lets down now and races away from them. Mulga opening right up from Sharkbite. Move on notice. Glowing Rock. My Name is Sue, but an early double for the Wizard.
Just got better as that race went on. Mulga was a really good performance, and William Pike has jumped off Major Mambo to ride it. So a couple of good indications there. It does go up to the 59 kilograms, and perhaps the class of horse it beat we're not too sure of, but it just looks progressive and looks like it'll handle the step up to 1700 metres here.
And with the small field as well, it won't be too far back,
That's
which is
right.
always a bit of a positive. What about Major Mambo? We've got that horse, Daisy Express, Express Me, all coming out of the same race.
Yeah, Major Mambo started as an odds-on favourite and really disappointed. It was slow to recover. The blinkers come off now, so look, I've just lost a bit of confidence, even though that semi-sizzle run was solid. Express Me was incredibly disappointing, but look at this race. It looks like the only leader, and its previous performance, it beat Daisy Express, so you'd probably prefer to be on Express Me if you can forgive that run.
Well, let's take a look at selections then for race number 1, and I'm going to be tipping at number 1 Mulga, from number 4 Express Me, number 2 Major Mambo, and number 3 Daisy Express.
Same 4 as you, with number 1 Mulga on top, with 4 Express Me, 3 Daisy Express and 2 Major Mambo.
Race number 2 at Belmont Park. It is Perth race number 4 for our Singapore viewers over the 1700 metres. And Ian, a few horses that we've seen go around on Saturdays, racing here in the Wednesday, just making a bit of a competitive field.
Yeah, we have horses like Low Flying and Don't Get Caught turning up in this field. And meticulously was a really good run last start, and you have to forgive the runs of perhaps the 6 Quintessence, 7 Quite Regal, because we know they're up to it. But Low Flying is the most consistent and has the class at the moment, Adam.
I know that we really like the form lines around Low Flying as well, with the Forgotten One. Attacked the line strongly, steps up another 50 metres here. So let's take a look at that last run now.
To the outside. Now Pike's back there in the ruck with Van Ripper trying to push into the clear back in the pink colours at the 250, and Sandpipers at race 2 in front from Insurgency. Now the Forgotten One. Van Ripper gets into the clear, but Damajo away from the rail, followed by Low Flying. 100 to go. Sandpipers gathered up by the Forgotten One. The Forgotten One burst up, grabbed the lead from Sandpipers, but Damajo and the...
Yeah, distance was a bit of a query for Low Flying, but you looked at the way it attacked the line. It looks like it'll handle this quite comfortably. That race was very strong sectionally, although not much has come out of it aside from Coming Back, which almost beat Battle Hero on Saturday, so you'd probably think that's pretty good when you look at it. Drawn Well should be running home.
I had it well and truly on top in this race, but my concern is just how far back Low Flying gets. I guess Barrier 2 is a bit of a helper with the cutaway as well, but is that a query for you?
It could be. Invariably, I prefer horses on speed than horses that get back, but Low Flying has settled a little bit closer in recent times.
What about number 3, Don't Get Caught here for trainer Ben Pearce? Troy Turner tried the 57 kilos, was beaten by Zoe Tomtea last start. Drops that kilo as well, but it's just building through this campaign nicely.
Thought it hit the line really nicely last start. That was a strong form race as well, drawn nicely. I think at its best form, Don't Get Caught would be very hard to beat here.
You mentioned number 6, Quintessence. So when Lucy Warwick has ridden this horse in the past, it normally runs that bit better. Go back to the defeat by Sandpipers, which is running really well these days as well. It's been very consistent. Can you see improvement from the nice barrier?
Well, I think there has to be. Look, Brett Pope is too good a trainer to let this form go on, and I'm pretty sure that Quintessence will be going forward in this race, and in that position will be very hard to run down.
Let's take a look at selections then for race number 2, and I'm going to be tipping number 1, Low Flying. From number 3, Don't Get Caught. Number 7, Quite Regal. And number 6, Quintessence.
3, Don't Get Caught on top from number 6, Quintessence. Number 1, Low Flying. And number 5, Meticulously.
Race number 3 at Belmont Park. It is Perth race number 6. It's over the 1,200 metres. We have a very impressive winner on debut, which was Universal Law, coming up against some pretty nice horses of the likes of Steve Surprise, Sasso Circus. We've thrown out a few times on box seat as well, and you have to take note when you see a little star next to Adam Durant's name with Sasso Circus.
Yeah, that's a major positive. Well, no offence to Carly Dowling, she got a lot out of this galloper, but we've seen it before with Adam Durant. He just gets them. And it
doesn't matter what trainer it comes from, the horse just grows another leg.
Yeah, that's right. So look, Sasso Circus on speed. I'd tip this horse in the Melbourne Cup. I'd find my way to put it in the top 4. But it will be awfully hard to beat the 8 Universal Law.
As you said, it will be really hard to beat, and that is because of that last start performance. Was able to win by a half length, and we'll take a look at that run now.
Around them, Slick Act and Foxinator's going up there as well. Fontaine's War has made up some ground towards the inside, so's Universal Law. But it's Daytot that races through at the 200 to hit the front. Foxinator, Sporting Image and Universal Law running on. Daytot with 100 to go. It's the leader. Here's Universal Law. Here's the half-brother to Delicacy gathering it up. Reaches the lead. Universal Law too good.
Yeah, Universal Law. We haven't seen it since that run. Hasn't been at the trial since, but that was a brilliant first up performance. Drawn really nicely here. Can't see too many negatives, but at the same time we haven't seen an awful lot of this horse, so it will be interesting.
There are so many positives with Sasso Circus. We mentioned a few of them in the preview there, but barrier 4, I mean, we see this horse jump from out wide a lot of the time in his career. The 3 kilo claim as well to Clint Johnson Porter. This is a horse that can get to the front with ease and has got just such a nice cruising speed, and then the late kick.
Yeah, well that's the problem, is the inconsistency with this galloper. It's top level of form. It's an outstanding galloper. So with Clint Johnson Porter taking the claim, I think that's a great step. And with the 56 kilograms, it'd be awfully hard to run down if it's at its best.
What about number 2, Steve Surprise? The form lines around this horse are questionable, but it does seem to do its best work over the 1,200 metres when it can get to the front.
Yeah, look, it's been a little bit inconsistent its last 3 or so starts. With the 59 kilograms, certainly no advantage against a pretty sharp bunch, but from barrier 1, it'll probably be getting the best run in the race.
Let's take a look at selections then for race number 3, and I'm going to be tipping number 8, Universal Law. From number 1, Sasso Circus, number 9, Balrog, and number 2, Steve Surprise.
I'm 8, Universal Law on top from number 1, Sasso Circus, 2, Steve Surprise, and number 5, Born Blue.
Race number 4 at Belmont Park. It is Perth race number 8 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1,400 metres and a pretty even bunch going around here. Ian, I found this quite hard to separate the top sort of 3-4 runners.
Yeah, I wrote down my selections originally and I had Paddy's Flat and Ocean Cracker on top. Paddy's Flat, that would make it about 4 times in a row. So I said, out you go, Ocean Cracker, 9 years old, out you go. Went with Ruling Force because, hey, on speed, probably an advantage.
Well, I can tell you I had the same 3 horses, but I didn't have the guts same as you. So I've got Ocean Cracker and Paddy's Flat in front of Ruling Force, but we will get to those selections in a minute. You mentioned Paddy's Flat. We've continued to follow this horse so much. The last run, again, was good. It attacked the line strongly. We've beaten 2 lengths by Illuminated, but at the end of the line was still beaten again. We'll take a look at that run now.
Gee, Galaxy Sun got through inside of him, though. He's getting right up along the rail. In the meantime, Night Prowler shot to the lead. Night Prowler's gone to the front. Illuminated picks up now, though. Gets into the clear. Down the outside, Capanda. Paddy's Flat. Night Prowler with 100 to go. The leader from Illuminated. Capanda. Night Prowler fighting hard. Illuminated lifted by Pike. He's driving hard. Illuminated goes to Night Prowler. Too good again.
Yeah, another strong run there by Paddy's Flat. Drawn really nicely here, and that's the advantage. If it's 1 out, 2 back, then it'll be close enough to use that turner foot. Quintessence came from that form, so we'll be able to see it earlier in the day to assess those form lines. Paul Harvey on board. Yeah, it'll be in the finish.
William Pike on Ocean Cracker. He seems just to go so well with this horse to the 1400 metres. I thought from barrier 5 he can lead, but wants to as well, all get in that lovely position. There was just a few positives.
Yeah, it's probably going to get the run of the race. One out, one back perhaps. And William Pike's record, as you mentioned, is so good on this horse. 13 rides now for 5 wins and 4 placings, so you know it will be in the finish.
We've talked about this combination a bit, Jared Humphreys and Randy Town. I'm just loving it at the moment. They seem to be enjoying themselves out there. They're getting some results as well. And ruling force, when you look at the form lines behind Royal Rada and also Special Delivery, it's not the craziest in this race.
Yeah, I think it's best when it's jumping and running, and its first up run was on Saturday level where it almost won that race at big odds. I just think on speed with an equivalent weight to that at this class, I think it'd be pretty hard to run down.
Well, let's take a look at selections then, and I am going to be tipping at number 6 Ocean Cracker, from number 7 Paddy's Flat, number 1 Ruling Force, and number 5 Mr. Balfire.
1 Ruling Force on top from 6 Ocean Cracker, 7 Paddy's Flat, and number 2 Ye Old.